24th meeting at 5 p.m. Tonight, we have an acceptance of the agenda. If there's no objection, if there's no problem with the agenda, we'll just bypass that. There's no sense of taking a vote on that. The minutes of the meeting, I need a motion.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion, a proper second. Any discussion with regards to the minutes? Hearing none, is everyone ready to vote? All right, all in favor of the minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously to the committee. That was for the 26th meeting, I should have said. I'm trying a new thing that the mayor kind of, I didn't say that I saw him do this, but I was going like, I've seen others on the board, and I'm going like, you can do this on your phone. And I'm going like, wow, so I'm gonna try it, since we have light agenda tonight. So moving right along, we're right now on resolution 2023-45. Welcome to the 21st century, Mark. A resolution to place historical marker at City Hall honoring Mr. William Henderson, the founder, or the name. That's what's the name after Hendersonville. Yeah.
I move approval.
Okay. There's been a motion and there's a proper second discussion. Does anybody want to talk about that? I think probably with the TV going, we probably need something about it.
Mayor, yeah.
Sure. So the Sons of the local chapter, the Sons of the American Revolution, which we just found out Mr. Gilly is a member of, they approached me probably 4 months ago or so and said that they wanted to have some sort of proper marker for William Henderson. Right. There is a historic marker over at the intersection of Sanderson Road and Gallatin Road. It's believed he's probably buried somewhere near there because his house was there, and his house also served as the first post office. That's late 1700s. His son and then I believe his grandson also postmaster. So you sort of see how the community became known as Hendersonville. Like I said, we're not real sure where he's buried, but these folks, they wanted to honor him somewhere, and they thought, well, since we don't know where he's buried, the next logical place would be City Hall of the city that's named after him. And so Sarah and Keith and I, really Keith, scoped out outside a good place to put the marker, and they, I can't remember if they said they raised all the money or they're pretty close to raising all the money, but they said they will pay for it. But that's a liability in my opinion, and I can't accept that myself. I have to go to the board to do that.
Fair enough. Where was Henderson from? I don't know.
I think it's North Carolina.
Yeah, I think it's North Carolina. I was going to say North Carolina, Virginia, because all those folks were.
Yeah.
But he fought in the Revolutionary War, and just like everybody else, most of his pay was land grant, and he ended up out here. And it's when there were very, very few people out here.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, any further discussion on Mr. Henderson's marker? All right, there's been a proper motion and a proper second. Hearing no discussion, is everyone ready to vote? All in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, it passes unanimously. It's kind of neat in a way that we're doing that. Okay. That is only what we had to do under ordinances and resolutions this evening. They're under agenda items. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Is there any citizen here that would like to speak, or an alderman, on an issue that we might do? We have no one signed up, which is good. Okay, hearing none. Other agenda items, trash collection update.
Yeah, so a really good update this month. As you can see in the chart, the graph that's attached in the chart, the misses for the month were very low, far below our average. So it's been a great month.
Anybody have any questions on that? Any alderman, mayor, anybody?
Great job.
Also, our trash collection contract is live on the website and will be advertised in the paper on Thursday.
Okay, repeat that again.
The trash collection contract.
Oh, yes.
That is out to bid.
Right.
And it'll be in the paper.
How long is that out for?
7 weeks, until December 7th.
Okay, and the bid is online. When, tomorrow, is that when it come out?
It's online now.
Oh, it's
It'll be in the
online.
paper on Thursday.
Thursday, okay, Thursday paper.
Is it too early to ask if we've had interest?
Yeah, I haven't received
Okay,
anything yet.
okay.
Well, you received questions on the.
I did,
Yeah.
yes.
So there is some
Yeah,
interest.
we've received interest, but since it's been posted on the website, I haven't received anything.
Right. Well, it's still, when did it go? When did the bid go out? Just a week ago or something?
I believe it was posted on the website maybe, let's say Thursday.
Okay,
on
yeah, that's,
Thursday.
it's not, yeah. Interest will come, just to see what it is, but it's still a little early before that, so that's good.
Would you mind if I forwarded it to some of the metro vendors?
Okay, Saunders Ferry Greenway update.
So we had our progress meeting there, moving right along on the boardwalks. Been kind of exciting to see. It'd be nice once all those connections are made. The completion date on the project is still November 17th. So we have moved up our monthly meetings to twice a week. We'll be meeting.
All right, anybody have any questions on that? Yes, sir. go ahead.
Have any of y'all gotten any complaints about the boardwalk, how it blocks the view of
Yes.
the lake? And if, I mean, I've received at least two. And why did we use that design instead of maybe a cable, the cable type of a restraint?
I'm not sure as far as the cable type design versus the structure that we have now, but the elevation was set primarily by a comment. It was either by the Corps, I think it was by TDOT that provided the comment that they felt that if it were lower to the water surface with the roadway elevation being higher where it's real close, that would be a comfort issue for people wanting to use the boardwalk with vehicles being higher, and the potential for vehicles to run off and fall on them, essentially, and throwing litter and things like that. So they actually set the elevation to be more equivalent with roadway in that area, and also the base flood elevation.
Who was responsible for the design of the bridges?
Well, so the
The walkways over the
location and
water?
outline and the elevations were designed by the consultant. And then the actual wood structures, the finalized design of the structures was the contractor. The elevations were set by the consultant.
But as far as the walls that are on the walk, who designed those?
That was the consultant,
The consultant
yes.
recommended those almost like siding, lap siding on there.
They provided general design criteria, and then the final design came from the contractor. So the additional slats may have been the contractor, but the general design criteria did come from the consultant.
Anybody else hear complaints about that?
Yes,
Yes.
I've
Yes.
had complaints.
And I've also seen some things on social media.
Yep.
Tons of comments about how it's not aesthetically pleasing and it
Yes.
blocks the view of the lake.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
if I could offer something, about the time that this went out for bids, I approached Timothy Witten about the growth of vegetation along the path. So right now, as you drive by there, there's a lot of places where you can't see the water just because it's not necessarily the trees, but it's all the growth underneath those trees. And I rode my bike along there and noticed that if we leave it the way it is, even when you're on that greenway, there's a lot of places you won't be able to see the water just because of all the growth is there. And there's also a lot of litter there too. So Timothy contacted the Corps of Engineers to see if we could lease that and clean it up. And so far they've said yes. So if it works out, there'll actually be greater visibility from the road than there was 4 months ago. Even though that one raised part will reduce visibility, the rest of it will look a lot nicer because you'll have trees, but you won't have that undergrowth for that whole mile long there.
So you'll be able to see a little bit of that tractor would be.
But I want to focus on the bridge. I know you've been out and looked at it, Mayor.
Yeah.
Are you pleased with the looks of that bridge right there over the lake?
So I was surprised at that part. I think there's also a pipe that runs under the road there someplace where it had to raise up also, I believe. So I'm sort of waiting to reserve judgment until we go.
I'm not objecting to the height. I understand.
Okay.
Is it T-dot or core, the core?
Mhm.
I understand, but I'm just saying visually, you just kind of look like you're I don't know, it's just visually not appealing.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's too late for us to be able to do anything there, but I'd like to, if it's okay for the staff to explore some options on improving the aesthetics of the bridge and bring back a report to the next Public Works meeting, Mr. Chairman, on that. I know it's gonna cost more money, but still, the lake we're the city by the lake, and I don't wanna box it in. You know, I wanna keep it as open and airy as possible.
The cables, where you can see the
Yes.
cables.
Yeah,
Yes.
like plexiglass. I saw some pictures from some other cities where they used plexiglass so you can see through it, and it looked really nice.
So if that's okay,
Sure.
we'll just put that on the agenda for the next time. Let the staff look at some possibilities.
Yeah, I will say that I've had social media have been contacted by that, and also by phone and email on that issue.
I'll look at the original design criteria, but I know that this was put out to bid twice, and the first time
It
it
was.
came in, it was over budget, and so there was some redesign and requests
Right.
for some, cost savings and
Bring
things
it
like
down,
that, and
yeah.
so, of course, then we put it out to bid with the revised design, and it was significantly higher then, so there may be, the cost side of that may have driven the materials and the design, I would imagine, but we'll look at that and see. what we
When
can
I
do.
looked at it, I agree with my colleague that and all the emails that I received. And I think one lady was at our meeting this last time when we were talking about the canoe. She had even mentioned but it might have been when the meeting was over, that she had some concerns about it as well. And I just cannot for the life of me, but I'm almost sure she did. Okay, yeah, I think we'll probably reserve any further comment on it unless anybody else does have something to say about it, and just have y'all take a look at it and see.
Sounds good.
Because I'm not sure, I don't know, if anything can be done about that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
If anything can be done, I can sure Public Works can take care of it. I have no doubt in my mind. I believe in that. All right. Any other discussion on the Greenway? All right. Let's go on with the light synchronization.
So the first part of the project that we're in construction on now it's going well. We're on schedule to wrap up by the end of this year. The second part, we did receive our approval of our environmental document this last week. So we will wait a couple of weeks to have funds appropriated for the next phase and request notice to proceed to right of way, and then we'll have some more submittals there before we can get to construction. But
Why do we need to wait 2 weeks?
because that's just TDOT's process to go
Okay.
through.
Okay, that's different. That's their process.
Yeah.
So remind everybody the streets that are going to be incorporated in the light synchronization.
It's New Shackle Island, Indian Lake Boulevard.
From Main Street to Stop 30.
No, not Stop 30. It's from Main Street to Creekwood, Glenbrook.
Okay. Okay.
And then from all of Indian Lake Boulevard essentially. And then Main Street from Center Point does not include the Bluegrass Stop 30, but I think it goes all the way over to Winston Hills. But that project was, when the project was initiated, that Bluegrass Stop 30 was not constructed yet.
Is that gonna mess it up?
We can incorporate,
Okay.
that. That would be fine.
Have you hired a traffic engineer?
No, we have not had applicants yet. Oh, we do have a traffic signal technician starting the first week of November.
So have they gone down New Shackle with phase one? Because I've not seen any construction on New Shackle.
They didn't have to. That was actually installed with the new Shackle Island widening project.
Okay,
So they'll just be making those connections and testing.
very good.
All right, any further discussion on that? That's good. Everything's moving along with it. Once I knew that once we started to get the ball rolling that it would, and it's transpired that way. So that's excellent news.
I'd like to thank the mayor too. He
Thank
contacted
you.
some people with, that work with TDOT and got the ball rolling on the looking for grave sites.
Well, TDOT has a new person in Region 3, Jay Norris, has been very helpful on a couple items. Sarah told me what to say, and I just knew the person to say it to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing that. All right, let's see, what else did we have today? There's one more and then we have other agenda items. Pickleball, the world famous pickleball. It's not world famous lights.
It's
It's
very famous.
It's the world famous pickleball court. What's going on with you, brother?
It's overbid.
By,
Everything's overhand.
I think we have 530,000 appropriated in the project. For this project, we put it out to bid. Sarah put it out to bid, basically to build at the senior center,
right,
to construct 2 courts without lights or fencing or a water fountain. $640,000.
wow.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is that for all eight?
No, that's for 2.
Two, yeah.
You can't have pickleball without a fence around
Right.
the courts. To do all 8 courts that we had designed with lights would be over $1 million.
We don't have the money.
There's site work involved in that involves drainage issues over at the senior center that probably do need to be addressed whether
Yeah,
whether there's pickleball there or not. But
So how much have we already spent on that project? Have we spent anything on design?
we did. We appropriated 70,000 for design, and that included design of not only the courts but also the stormwater issue and other things over there. And we ended up spending right at 53 on design. That part of the project came in under at this point.
Is that included in the six?
That's done. No, that part. We have
So really,
530 left.
So really, if you look at the project, what it's cost, you got to add that 50,000
Sure.
part of it. So then that bumps it up to what?
No, that 50 is already out the window.
It don't matter. I mean, we've spent it. It's
Right.
part of the cost of the project.
It's not part of this bid.
No, but it's
on top of it.
it's
on
part
top
of
of
the
this bid.
overall cost.
Yes, be on top of this bid. Correct.
So the whole project is overbid. So what is the next step for you? To us making a decision? Is that?
That's a great question. I mean, it's probably going to be a Bowman decision or capital projects
I'd say the
or
ball in the
mayor, executive.
So my feeling is that, have talked to Jesse and Sarah about this, is we're gonna see if the environment changes the next 2 months and go out for bids again, but I can't go forward at this point.
No, I can't.
No, I don't.
And I'm not gonna ask the board for more money at this
We
point.
only had 1 bid.
Were they
Who was
local?
It was local, Olympian Construction.
Scott Robinson.
I would say if we don't, I'm not saying at all that we should do this,
Right.
but I'm going to say that particular company probably would not bid on it again if we put it back out to bid. I'd be surprised if they did.
So, go ahead.
There are some portions of the design that can be used no matter where we put this. So we do have that sort of in our back pocket to use.
So you're looking at other alternatives. I think I've heard some scuttlebutt of possibly,
When we first started this project, we looked at 3 locations: the senior center, Memorial Park, and beside Mary's Magical Place, where the old hockey rinks were. There was pros and cons, big time pros and big time cons at all of them, probably. This is me personally, Parks Director talking. Memorial Park to me is not an option.
no.
As
we've got-
crowded as that
right.
is,
We've
and
got
everything
lots
goes,
planned
that's,
for that.
to
field.
me, that's left the building.
Yeah.
Over beside Mary's Place, depending on the day of the week, it could be totally packed over there. Also, that is in a floodplain. You would at that point be saying to ourselves that we're self-insuring all the equipment in the courts over there for flood purposes.
Well, there's not a lot of equipment.
I mean,
Not a lot.
nets, benches, shit, you know.
Yeah.
If the flood comes and it tears up makes the asphalt cracked,
And it will.
I mean, probably.
Sure,
you know,
sure, I know, that's what I'm saying, and it will crack.
Doesn't every time, but it will for sure.
Well, all I can say, like the mayor, I'll go on the record, I cannot support a penny over 530,000, period. You know, so I couldn't support that with all the other needs that we've got, and the other bids that we're gonna be getting in the next 6 to 8 months on projects.
I'll go on the record and say I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I think most of the aldermen, I can't speak for any of those guys, but I would say for one, I don't support it. I cannot.
You're not gonna hurt my
That's
feelings saying that.
I mean,
I guess in 2 months, 3 months, we'll come back to you all for some maybe direction on looking at another location and seeing if we can do it in a better way, maybe, or a cheaper way, but high quality.
right. That's all we do.
You don't want to just throw something out there and say, here it is, y'all go play on it.
Right.
We need to do it right if we're gonna do it
Well, if you're gonna do it, you do it right.
within reason.
All right, any of the aldermen, mayor, do y'all have any besides what you've said? I think that's a good thing. We'll just wait a couple, until you let us know really what we need to do, and then we'll bring it back here and see where we're gonna go. That is disappointing, cause I do have some people that call me every once in a while about it. And, we tried. So we'll just see where it lands. Okay,
I would add that construction volume has dropped the most it has in the last 10 years in the last month. So the timing issue, I think, is going to be most important because right now we're just dealing with backlog of work.
right.
In a few months, we may be dealing with more hungry vendors.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
So when everything catches up. Any further discussion on that? Okay, other agenda items. Does anybody have anything? I do. I have something I need to ask about, something that, I do want to let the committee know, and I'm sure you all already know, that a former Public Works Director, Bobby Frudenthal, passed. And he was a good man. In fact, he was the very first Public Works Director I served under in 86, 87, and 87, I think it was. And I learned a great deal from him. And so the other night I was laying in the bed thinking about him and his family, and actually, I know we're not, well, I don't care with it because I do. I was praying about it. I was praying, about his family and for health and for all of us too, and everybody. And so I started thinking about some of the things that he and I had done over the years when he was here. And, I was laughing about some because some of them I'm not going to tell you because it's funny. But one thing that I think we need to look at, and I don't even know if we have, but have we looked under the bridges like where the train goes through and see if there's any damage under the bridges? Because when we went down there one day, the bridge there on Main Street that you, Caldwell Bankers, I think it is right there. There's a red light, Ace Hardware, Caldwell Bankers, and then the bridge goes across. We built that. Well, we had it built because we walked in there one afternoon. He and I met and walked in there. And I tell you, I didn't tell the public this, but and it was a great project that the federal government came in and paid for. But I was scared to go over that bridge. That's how bad it was. And I'm just wondering, I mean, it's been 30 years. And I'm just wondering if we've had the opportunity. I don't even know what possessed us to go down there and look, but it was bad. It was horrible. And I'm just wondering if we've had the opportunity just to go down there. I know we've got a lot of things on, but there's a ton of cars that go over that thing and trucks that go over that bridge. And I'm just wondering if we've had it looked at. Or also the bridge, all our bridges really, the one on Rockland.
TDOT performs the bridge inspections annually, and they send us bridge inspection reports, and we review them for priorities.
Okay, good. I couldn't remember how or what even, because it wasn't TDOT that notified us. I just remember I used to play cars at the old Public Works building, the old Shannon house, because that was what, I don't know if you all know that or not, but the Shannons owned that house that the original city hall was in. And upstairs where the Public Works is was where we would play trucks and cars and things like that, and that, in there. And that's how long ago it's been 30 years or so. So I was wondering, what possessed to do that. I don't know. But I know that when I looked under there, I'm not going to use the language, but it was colorful when we walked under there to see that. And then also, I guess I don't know whether CSX does or not, but the bridge at Rockland Road. And I'm just wondering, because that's a very small bridge, and we built that when this war, we had it, federal government came in.
I'll have to verify that one. CSX is, well, any of the railroads are very particular usually about any of the infrastructure around their rails. And they typically will do those inspections themselves.
Well, that bridge right there actually was a wooden bridge, and it scared the heck out of me too. That one did, but we got them all taken care of, for the most part. So that's the other business. That's the only one that I do. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Question for Sarah. Stop 30 and Drakes Creek Road, the intersection there.
Yes.
Did we ever consider a roundabout for that intersection?
No, I don't think that was ever discussed.
Are roundabouts typically more expensive than a four-way stop to construct?
Than a four-way stop
Well,
or a traffic signal?
yeah, traffic signal. And I would hold you to it. It's just, you just ballpark it here. Are they usually more expensive?
They would be, yes. You need a little bit more right of way and utility relocations.
Okay. How are we doing on the right-of-way acquisitions for our capital projects? And I'm thinking of Stop 30 and Drakes Creek. I'm thinking of in front of Durham. I'm thinking of Walton Ferry and Old Shackle. How do we stand on the right-of-way acquisitions on those projects?
So TDOT is managing the right-of-way acquisition for the last one, Walton Ferry, Old Shackle, but they have been making pretty significant progress. I want to say they had 10 parcels outstanding, which was much lower than it was even 6 months ago. The Drakes Creek Stop 30, we have not actually acquired any property yet. They're still working on the appraisal brochures. That area is a little challenging for them just because we're going through the land use update plan for that area, and we have the existing land use plan, and then we have the existing zoning, and they're all different. And so when they're appraising property, they have to go with the highest and the best use. So we've had some meetings and discussions back and forth on what that highest and best use for the properties would be for those appraisals.
So we're behind on that project of the timeline that you projected.
I don't know that we're necessarily behind. I mean, right away is very unpredictable, to be honest. So those estimates really are always just a kind of a guess, to be honest.
So we've hired a consultant to do that, right?
Yes, we have to use a consultant.
Can we push the consultant any?
I have
get-
been.
You have been?
Yes, I have been. I was on a meeting with them yesterday. We've had regular meetings, but I think we've come to an agreement on how to address those. And so they will be finalizing the appraisal brochures and then moving forward with the negotiations, offers.
I'll ask you next month the same question. What about drinks? What about Durham Farms, the roundabout?
We
Because
just,
there are two bridges there that are dangerous, or
Mhm.
one bridge that's really dangerous
right.
going over that.
We had to make some plan revisions for, to appease some of the concerns for some of the property owners that were most impacted. So then we had to update the appraisals and do full appraisals. So we just received half of the appraisals back today. And so then we'll be handing those over to the sub-consultant to finish out the offers and negotiations on those.
And what about the bathrooms at the rugby fields?
Those are nearly complete. I think we're waiting on HVAC.
They're waiting on HVAC and some parts for the grinder pump to get the restrooms fully going.
And the grinder pump, is that the utility?
It's for the sewer.
Well, I know, but the utility provides that, right?
No, we had to buy
Warehouse.
that. They maintain it. We had to buy it, but yes. And it's in, it came in actually about 3 weeks before they said it was going to, but there's some parts that are delayed. So,
So we don't have an estimated time.
I mean, we'll hope, we'll be ready. They'll be ready by the time they start in the spring season. They only have about 2 weeks left of rugby this fall. So it's on about the schedule I thought it would be on, honestly.
And I saw this somewhere in some documents, Mr. Chairman, about some lights are gonna cost us more than we estimated, and we're gonna go back to the state and request additional money.
Oh, that's actually coming up tonight.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
time.
that's LPRF grant for turf, soccer field and rugby lights. $65,000 on a $1.2 million project. We had a good meeting with TDEC. I'm not gonna say that we're gonna get half of it from them, but I feel pretty confident about that they'll match, and we've gotten some commitments from our clubs to help us get there. Where hopefully our general fund would not be tapped for very much, if any, of that overage.
Are our reserves. Right?
Correct.
Okay. And I just think that that people listening, citizens need to understand every bid that's going out now is much more than we estimated. And that's another casualty of inflation and the market. So I want citizens to understand, we're not slow walking these projects.
Right.
But they're just, the cost is just a lot more than we ever estimated, and there's just so much we can do as a city. So I wanted that message to go out. Reason I asked those questions.
Good point. Very good point.
With the mercy of the market. Is there an update on the LED lighting conversion? Is that on hold?
Drawing board, I guess, a little bit. So the recommendation from the committee was to utilize NES. But then we discussed some alternatives, simply because NES really, they would hire a subcontractor to do that work for them. And so they've already said that it would not necessarily be faster or cheaper to use them because they're going to bill us for whatever it costs them. They do not do an assessment of our current street lighting system. They don't, it's just a 1-for-1 conversion. So we're evaluating the other options on how to move forward with that, on whether we go ahead and select one of those other companies and allow them to do the evaluation, or if we do an in-house evaluation, which of course will take much longer. We're evaluating options for that.
Do we have any money budgeted for that? No money budgeted.
It's down the road.
All right. I just figured we'd find out what the cost is and then we'd handle it. that way.
Yeah.
Measure impact.
Yeah, exactly. All right, is there anything else, any from the alderman in your districts? Mayor, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Well, Jesse, do you have anything you might want to tell us, maybe about your children that might have, they won some kind of a medal or award? We saw that?
Swimming award, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, swam like, was it 2 miles or something?
You swim it too? Gosh. I tell you, those guys, it's just every other day they're getting something. I bet they're just happy as a bug on a log there, from moving from California to here, because they're winning everything, so. All right, he doesn't have any response to that, so that's all right. Well, you tell him we congratulate them. All right, since there's no other items on the agenda, I'll just need a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, adjourned at